Hamza's here with me now. Hamza, a very, very comfortable performance for you tonight. What did you make of what your City boys did?
I think absolutely outstanding performance by Man City. People have said beginning of the season there were two stadiums that we can't go and win. It was Spurs and Brentford, and people said that they're a team that we had a boogie team, but we went there initially, and to be behind, which with Route 1 football, and to come back from behind, it's just amazing. And they've done it they've done it against Luton, they've done it against Everton. And Foden's carrying this team. Like Foden is the guy now. We're starting to see the boy that you all doubted. Now you're starting to see the boy. The boy is a man now. A guy who's elevated. He's winning games by himself. He won how many games? This guy's winning games with amazing goals, not little tap-ins. And I was so impressed with the performance by Man City. First, we had Brentford were very disappointing. To me, 100%. I'll tell you one thing about you, Terry. I'm just disappointed that every style that they had, they were just hoofing the ball for 90 minutes, yeah? And I'm thinking, do really Brentford fans pay £1,000 probably to go on with this kind of game? I will never. I swear to God. I will never pay £1,000 or something. Season ticket. All they were doing, Route 1 star. Route 1. They caught us the first time. But it was all over. Same thing over and over again. And I was thinking, this is the Brentford that was different last season. But today, to come up from that result with Brentford, who tried to play physical, we showed why Man City should be respected. We are absolutely a class above everyone else. When you doubt them, this is what they show. These are star. These are absolutely star boys. I was really impressed. And big up to Phil Foden, who I hope that the people that are comparing him to Saka and this, bro, there's no debate anymore. Now we see why this is great. It's true, Terry. It's true. You agree with that? He's a star boy. He's a real star now.
Listen, I've said for years, Foden for me in that conversation that included Saka and Hudson-Odoi and Foden and Rashford, all these players, I've always put Foden ahead of them all. And a lot of that has been down to the trophy he's won and his integral role in helping City win them. And the reason that I do that is because that's the reason why I hold the Ryan Giggses and the Paul Scholeses of this world in high regard. The consistency, the outputs, how pivotal they were to winning trophies, how they performed in title runs. I can't hold that train of thought for my legends. And then when it comes to a Foden versus Saka or a Foden versus Rashford conversation, I can't then discount those very same standards. So, of course, I have to hold Foden in that high regard. You know, he's got the ability, he's got the consistency. And we were just looking at numbers, and I actually just went and working out, like, he doesn't quite have as many goals as Messi and Ronaldo did at his age. They were ahead of him by, between 30 and 40 goals apiece. But the point I'm making is that most players that you look at now that are killing it, 27, 28, 29, 30, if you go back to their first 4 or 5 years of their career, they weren't knocking out 120 to 130 goal contributions in their first 250 games of their career. They weren't doing that. The two greatest footballers of all time are ahead of him. That's because, listen, Foden's great. He's never going to be Messi. He's never going to be Ronaldo. But the fact is, compare him to Salah, you compare him to a lot of these. Eden Hazard weren't doing that at that stage of his career, but that consistency. And these players are amazing. I'm not slagging these players off. It shows how good Phil Foden is, but he's also done it in multiple title contending seasons, multiple domestic trophies, in Champions League runs. He's legit. He is the star boy. I agree.
And you can see the way that he's so confident that he's carrying Man City. People are saying KDB, he's having that performance that Kevin De Bruyne had, like in terms of carrying City, or Gundogan carrying City when we didn't have anyone. Gundogan was injured, Kevin De Bruyne was injured, and he's played every single minute. The funny thing is, he does not even take penalties. His goals are class. You can see the ball control. He's matured this year, and this year you have to say that the performance I'm feeling from Phil Foden is absolutely a performance of a man. Like, this is a performance I see from Bellingham, Musialas, the Pedris, the elite footballers, elite youngsters. They're on their own bracket, like the Pedri, the Musiala, the Bellingham, and the Foden. Those four names, and probably Gavi. They sit on their own table. There's no doubt. And Foden shows why he's respected internationally. You speak to Madrid fans, you speak to Barca fans, they say, oh, the best English talent is Bellingham and Foden. They don't bring anyone else. And today, I think the performance showed maturity. We've always gone down against Brentford. We'd lose this game. But to come back from behind, which is quite frustrating against Luton, against Everton, and now against Thing, it shows that Man City have got this, we're not giving up anymore. And I think you have to give credit to the key thing for us is to take it from there, because Liverpool have dropped points. They're absolutely a threat. I respect Liverpool so much because they are absolutely an amazing team, no doubt about it. We have to make sure we sit down and put pressure on Liverpool. The next February is all must win. We must win February. It is a must win. March then becomes war, because all the fixtures I've seen in March, it becomes crazy. So City have to continue from this and not drop points like they did to Crystal Palace and the Tottenham. You know, those kind of games, Terry. We can't take those kind of points. Against Everton, you can't take them lightly. They can come to Etihad and win. So we have to win those games. And let's see what Man City is made of. I think this today has sent a message to Liverpool fans and Arsenal fans that we're not here to be messed around. And this season, we're going to give you a run of your money, although we have lost a lot of our players.
Listen, I think you guys have got you're the favourites. There's no doubt about it. I think that you had to go and win tonight because there was such a buzz, such a buzz and such a noise after Arsenal's win yesterday. You guys couldn't afford to drop points today because I think, again, that would cement even more confidence. You wanted to send that shot and to say, listen, well done yesterday. I know you're growing in confidence, but Man City here, Man City are doing what they're doing. I want to run these numbers out to everybody again as well. I've just done Messi's numbers, the person that I consider, and I think everybody here considers to be the greatest football player of all time, definitely of this generation. So at the similar age to Phil Foden. So when he played his first 200, I think it was 253 games, he had 55 assists, Foden's on 50, and he had 127 goals. So he's actually like nearly 60 goals ahead of Foden. That's the greatest of all time. Okay. It shows how good Foden is still, that they've got a similar amount of assists and still 70 goals. And I'm just saying to people, the numbers this kid has put up at 23, coupled with every other element of him, is phenomenal. You know, and I'm only comparing the output against Messi to show people that the greatest of all time at 23 was not light years ahead of him in every single area from an output point of view. It just shows how good it is. And I think that it's the one thing about the Messis and the Ronaldos, when it comes to the output numbers, they've kind of broken the barometer, because somebody could have 200, 50% assists and goal scoring rate in their first 250 games of their career. And people think, well, Messi and Ronaldo are at 80, 90% in their whole career. Therefore, it's not very good. But it's at the age he's at is crazy. Who says he's 20? He's not 25. He's 23. I swear he's 23. 23, not 25. Yeah.
And you know who reminds me this season of? I'll tell you, he reminds me of Ilkay Gundogan. Like, he gets into the box at the right time. He knows to anticipate. And that, I don't know whether he's learned that. You must have learned that from Gundogan, the maturity. Look at the first goal. He already anticipates the ball's going to come up from him, and he's there. He scores a good, and he scores. He's very composed. He scored that very brilliant goal. Second goal, he anticipates KDB is going to whip that cross. He gets in. He headers. The third goal, the same, 1-2. He get similar. He's playing like I've been telling you, he's playing like Gundogan, coming from the midfield and then going as an attack. And that's what I'll respect, because Gundogan did it his last 2-3 years. He's doing at the age of 23. He's only going to get better.
Yeah, I totally agree. And someone who says Terry is obsessed with stats and Messi ain't even the best Argentinian. And that's fair. That's fair, the last statement. But I'm not obsessed with stats. I've quite clearly, in an articulate way, explained about ability, about delivery in trophy-winning seasons, delivering in the clutch moments. I've just used the statistical outputs of an attacker to demonstrate that's an important part. The output is an important part. and I'm just putting him up against the best ever at the same age to see how it compares. And he's not a million miles away from the greatest of all time in many people's eyes. So that's why. So yes, at no point did I say it's all about stats. Please don't misrepresent my points. Now, I wanted to ask you quickly about the other competition. You mentioned Liverpool already. A big result yesterday for Arsenal, Hamza. Did it change your perception of them? Did it change your perception of the title race at all this year?
I predicted that scoreline exactly, Terry, because I just knew that Arsenal had that. After the last loss, the fans were ready for this. It was like a big game for them. And big credit to Arsenal, like literally credit to Arsenal. They turned it around and they beat Liverpool 3-1. And they had a better XG than Liverpool. They were way better than Liverpool. But not to say Liverpool missing Mo Salah, who's absurd. He elevates. He's world class. He elevates Liverpool. So to me, that is the scoreline I wanted, because I see Liverpool as more of a major threat than Arsenal for 3 reasons. One, their manager's got experience. He knows how to win games. He knows how to win the league. Manager Klopp is exceptional. Second is the pressure they put him on is his last season. So it's on their favor to deliver this league. But also on the other side, that it could have been, he probably announced it too early. Because if they don't win the league, people will look back to this and say, Fergie announced you on 7th of May when he's about to leave, when he knew he was going to leave. But he announced it in January. So he's probably put his players under pressure. So his players, I believe they can. And the third thing I was going to say, that the reason why I believe they've got the edge over Arsenal is they're playing Europa League. I've been telling people for years. When I saw them entering Europa League, I just knew, oh my God, because the competition is different. You know that, Terry. If you look at all the teams, or probably only Bayer Leverkusen is left there. Liverpool can win Europa League. They've got the heritage of Europe. They're not scared of anyone there. They can even rest their major players in the Europa League if they get through. But we and Arsenal, we have to go and probably face Porto. After that, probably Madrid, Inter. The big teams are left. But Europa League, not much big teams are left. So that gives them a leeway of trying to be a bit favorites than us. But City, the key thing for us is we must keep all our players fit by March. We have to do what we used to do, rotate. Make sure Stones doesn't get injured, Rodri doesn't get injured. He's 2 or 3 red yellow cards away from being suspended from 2 games. And you know what? I'm already looking today. I beg you could have got a yellow card there. And, I'm not saying do a Sergio Ramos, those dirty 3, and miss the Luton game. Because I'm looking at the Arsenal and Liverpool waiting. I don't want it.
Sometimes you've got to do these things, though, Hamza. You do. There's some super chats here. First one says, Saka better than Foden. They said, yeah, is what Low Key has got to say. Doc and Coffee says, Terry, watch the next Men in Blazers. You'll end up with more ball knowledge. It's Joel. Okay, Embiid. You've heard it here first. I'll give it a go. By the way, I was only messing around with basketball there because I try and wind up Igal. That's all it was. Is I like slagging off things that Igal likes because sometimes it triggers him. I've got no issue with basketball. Foden waited for his chance and broke into the team whilst producing their output. He deserves his starts, and he's arguably City's best player this season. Brilliant super chat. Jerome here says, Hamza, do you believe Man City will be able to do the 4-peat this season, or is it too much to ask?
I think March is the month, and they must try and edge Liverpool to that. Because I believe if we keep in touch with Liverpool towards April, because they're playing West Ham away and Villa away, I believe we win the league. So if we're able to get a point at Liverpool and beat Arsenal, I think we can win the league. Yeah, it's a possibility.
Absolutely. And just for the record again for people, I wasn't comparing Phil Foden to Messi or Ronaldo to suggest that they are close to each other in terms of what they've achieved versus him. I'm pointing out that the numbers, so we know how good his ability is. We know what bracket he's in for ability. We know what he has done in title runs and everything else. I'm simply stating that his numbers for a 23-year-old are phenomenal. And that element of his career, I am putting those numbers up against if you put those numbers up against other players of similar abilities and levels, and also put those numbers up against some of the greatest of all time, you'll see how good they are. and it can't be ignored. Who has won the league and Europe in the same year? Hamza, your logic doesn't make sense. It's hard to win Europa and the league together.
Yeah, no, it's possibility. There's a possibility. The thing is, a lot of teams that used to play Europa were not as strong as Liverpool. This time, the strongest team in the league, probably Liverpool, Man City. Liverpool's playing Europa League. So everyone believes Liverpool can still win the league. So you don't play with that with Liverpool. I think they can win the league.
Mate, I'm sure they can. I'm sure they can still win the league. I'm absolutely sure they can. They can do both, but it's hard to do. Look.